Y'all, today we're making shrimp and grits etouffee. So I'm going to start with some red Argentinian shrimp. I'm going to make my seafood stock. So I'm going to take the shells off the shrimp and put them in a strainer. I did this in my gumbo video also, but this is how I make my seafood stock. So I'm just going to peel all of my shrimp. I'm going to add a little bit of water to a pot. And then I'm going to use the packet from the Top Ramen mix. And so that's basically a cheap and easy way to make flavorful seafood stock. So just keep watching. Alright, so to a saucepan, I'm just going to add a little bit of water. It doesn't need to be full because you just want it to simmer and the shrimp to get that flavor. So here's the Top Ramen shrimp flavor package that I'm going to use. It's basically the same as like a bouillon cube, but it's seafood flavored. So I'm going to add that in and then stir it around and then add my shrimp shells to that. And then I'm going to let it simmer because you don't want it to boil to evaporate the water, but I'm going to let it simmer on low for about 10 minutes or so. So it's just simmering there. After that, I'm going to drain it and then just set it aside in a bowl. All right, so next I'm going to make my roux. I'm going to use about a half a cup of butter and then about 3 tablespoons of flour. So just going to melt this butter down and then I'm going to add in my flour, like half of it at a time, stir it and then add the other half. And this is the same way that you would make a roux for gumbo. You just won't have to let it cook until it's dark. You cannot walk away from this. This doesn't take as long. It maybe took me about 5 minutes to get it to a peanut butter color is what you're looking for when you're making etouffee. So yeah, so just gonna stir this around and wait till it gets to a peanut butter color. It's looking good, just how I like it. So I'm gonna just take this off the heat for a little bit. I'm gonna chop up my veggies. I have a tomato, bell pepper, red and green, celery, a shallot, and garlic. So I'm just gonna chop my shallot, and then this portion that I'm making, I think it serves about, I'd say between about 4 portions. So gonna cut all my veggies up. And then I'm cutting my bell pepper. I'm not the biggest fan of green bell peppers. I cut them kind of fine and I don't use a whole lot, but you can add with all these vegetables as little or as much as you like. This is just a measurement for about 4 servings. Then kind of cut my tomatoes and set them in a bowl separately from the bell pepper, celery, onion, and of course the garlic. All right, so half of my shrimp I did cut into bite-sized pieces and then left the other ones whole. All right, so I'm gonna add my veggies to the roux and just let that saute for a minute or 2. I did not add my garlic in yet. I just kind of wanted to cook this for about, a minute or 2. And then I'm going to add in a teaspoon of garlic and let that cook for about another 30 seconds or so. So just adding in that seafood stock and gonna give it a good stir. All right, next I'm gonna add my seasonings. They will be listed in the description box with the measurements, and just stir everything around. right, I'm adding in my tomatoes, and I'm gonna let this simmer on medium for about 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, next I am going to add in heavy whipping cream, and again the measurements will be in the description box. I'm going to let this simmer for a few minutes. All right, and then I am going to add in my shrimp and just let this simmer as well, maybe for another 5 minutes. All right, I'm going to add in my 2 bay leaves and let this simmer maybe for another minute or two. And then at this point, you can taste to see if you want to add any more seasonings. I felt like I needed a little bit of something, so I added in some Cajun seasoning, and it's to your preference. All right, so after you've added the seasoning, you can cut the heat off, cover it, and let it sit for about 10-15 minutes. Then you can serve it with some grits. I fried some fish. We'll have the link to my mustard fried fish video so you can watch that if you're interested. But here you guys go. This is great for brunch. It's great for cold weather. These grits is going to definitely stick to your ribs and keep you full. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you comment and subscribe. Love ya. Bye.